Zero build is fast-paced, strategic, and improving in this mode isn't always obvious. If you're grinding zero build but aren't sure if you're making real progress, this video will help. Today, we'll take a step back and break down 15 clear signs that you're leveling up your skills in zero build, and some might be more subtle than you realize. Let's dive in. Before jumping into the first point, let me be clear. Some of these might seem obvious to experienced players, but remember, viewers of my channel have very different skill levels. Also, no matter what season or chapter you're watching this in, these 15 key points are timeless and always relevant. Number 1. Getting better accuracy percentage over time. Accuracy is one of the clearest indicators of improvement, but it's often overlooked. For example, let's say you consistently hitting 20% of your shots today, and after a few weeks of focused gameplay, you're closer to 30%. That might not seem like a huge leap at first, but in the heat of a match, that 10% difference can mean an extra elimination or two. And that's what sets you apart in competitive zero build. Without the ability to create cover like in build mode, your aim becomes the most critical skill to master. Improving accuracy comes from practice, but it's also about refining your sensitivity settings, learning the recoil patterns of your favorite weapons, and staying calm in chaotic moments. For example, instead of wildly spraying an assault rifle at an opponent running across the field, you're learning to pace your shots, focusing on hitting center mass, and then adjusting for headshots as you close the distance. If a weapon has heavy recoil, it's even more important to aim at the center of your target, allowing the crosshair to naturally rise toward the head after a few shots. There are a few zero build maps that can help you practice your aim without the pressure of facing opponents. My personal favorite is Aim Edit, Piece Control, and 1v1. It's the perfect map to test new aiming settings and see if they feel comfortable for you. Rest assured, you'll be able to practice every weapon type from assault rifles to shotguns, sniper rifles, and more. To track your accuracy improvement over time, check your match stats at the end of each game and write down the percentage you see. Focus on slow incremental growth rather than big jumps. It's like going to the gym. You won't see massive changes overnight, but with consistency, the results will speak for themselves. When you notice your shots landing more often, especially in clutch situations, you'll know your hard work is paying off. Personally, I've been seeing more 40% accuracy games lately, and that's also translated to more eliminations overall. Number 2. Increased kill-death ratio. A rising kill-death ratio, KD, is one of the clearest signs that you're becoming a more effective player in zero build. If you started with a 0.5 KD, 1 elimination for every 2 deaths, but now you're averaging 1.0 or higher, it shows you're eliminating more opponents than you're losing to. While it may seem obvious, tracking your KD over time is an excellent way to measure progress. This is a big deal because it reflects not just your combat skills, but also your ability to survive and thrive in tougher situations. Think of it like a sports team improving its win-loss record. Early on, you might lose most games, but as you practice, develop strategies, and tighten your mechanics, the win starts to outweigh the losses. In Fortnite, this could mean landing in smarter locations, taking fights you're confident in, and knowing when to disengage to preserve your life. To improve your KD, focus on picking smarter engagements. For instance, if an opponent has the high ground and you're low on health, retreat and reset instead of facing a risky fight. Conversely, when you have an advantage, like a clear shot or superior positioning, capitalize on it. Over time, these small decisions add up, and you'll notice your KD steadily climbing. Keep in mind that landing at heavily contested POIs can hurt your KD, as third-party engagements are more common and risky in the early game. Did you know you can track your Fortnite KD over time on a website? Head to FortniteTracker.com, enter your epic username in the search bar, and access all the stats you can imagine. Unfortunately, it doesn't include accuracy stats like those we discussed earlier, but it's still a fantastic tool for tracking your performance. Number 3. Better at 1v1s. Winning 1v1 battles is the ultimate skill check in zero build. These situations test everything: your aim, positioning, movement, and decision making, all under high pressure. If you're finding that you can consistently outplay opponents in these duels, it's a clear sign you're improving. Think back to the early days when you might panic, miss your shots, or rush into bad positions. Now, perhaps you're doing the opposite, taking control by strafing effectively, tracking your opponent, and staying calm. For instance, when facing an aggressive player, you might bait them into overcommitting, then counter with precise headshots. Improving your 1v1 performance often comes down to practice and reviewing your mistakes. Watch replays to analyze what went wrong in the fights you lose. Were you too predictable? Did you miss an opportunity to reposition? Each duel becomes a learning experience, and as you refine your approach, you'll start winning more consistently. If reviewing replays isn't your thing, there's a specific map designed for practicing 1v1s called Rapid Zero Build 1v1. I play this one frequently and I've seen clear progress in my ability to fight opponents. Sure, sometimes you'll face players who are far better than you, but it's still great practice, as it forces you to learn to land shots quicker, a skill that's often underrated. You'll also face players of similar skill levels, and these balanced 1v1s are the most rewarding. Not only do they help sharpen your mechanics, but they also boost your confidence significantly. Number 4. Ranking up in ranked game mode. Climbing the ranks in Fortnite's rank mode is one of the most concrete indicators of improvement. Every rank you achieve, from silver to gold, platinum or higher, proves you're adapting to tougher competition and growing as a player. Starting from platinum lobbies, you'll only face real human players, no bots whatsoever. This makes ranked mode a better measure of progress compared to public matches, where bots can skew the challenge. What's impressive about ranking up is that it's not just about winning games, it's about consistency. To succeed, you need to master survival, elimination, rotations, and endgame strategies. To keep progressing, focus on small improvements. Use each match to refine your strategies, especially in late game circles, where every decision counts. Don't get discouraged by setbacks. Sometimes tough games are necessary to recalibrate and adapt. The ranking system is forgiving at the early ranks, so it's a great time to land at hot POIs and practice early game fights. Personally, I play much more aggressively in the lower ranks, since losing points is rarely a significant setback. I've reached Unreal a couple of times already, and all of this progress happened in Chapter 5. It's been a clear sign of how much I've improved during that chapter. Number 5. You survive longer, more top 10 placements. Making it into the top 10 regularly is a major milestone in your zero build journey. Early on, you might struggle to survive past the first storm circle, but if you're consistently reaching those final zones, it's a clear sign you're improving at staying alive and making smarter decisions. Survival in zero build isn't just about hiding, it's about smart rotations and avoiding unnecessary fights. For example, instead of sprinting through open fields where you're an easy target, you might take a slower, safer route around natural cover like hills or trees. Top 10 placements also show that you're mastering the endgame mindset. You're not rushing fights or making careless mistakes. You're staying focused, waiting for the right moments, and capitalizing on opportunities. The more you practice this, the more confident and composed you'll feel under high-pressure situations of those final circles. Did you know that regularly making the top 10 in ranked is one of the fastest ways to climb the ranks? The ranking system rewards significant points for top 10 finishes, and if you secure a few eliminations during those late game moments, you'll rank up even faster. You should approach each ranked game with the mindset to make it in the top 10 every single time. We have 10 more points to review, and it would be great if you could tap that like button right before going to number 6, which is your aim feels snappier, landing more shots. Snappy aim is something you notice before it shows up in the stats. You know you're improving when you instinctively land shots, whether it's snapping to an opponent at medium range or hitting quick flicks in close quarters. This improvement comes from building muscle memory and finding the sensitivity settings that suit your playstyle. For example, once you fine-tune your settings, you'll be able to lock onto enemies quickly without overshooting your target. This small adjustment can make the difference between winning and losing a fight. A great way to develop snappier aim is by practicing in-aim trainers or warming up in creative maps before jumping into matches. It's like a soccer player practicing penalty kicks. You're honing your reflexes and focus until aiming becomes second nature. It's worth noting the difference between controller and keyboard and mouse in this area. The aim assist feature on controllers can make your aim feel snappier, particularly in close-range SMG fights, where it locks onto targets. However, this can come with a drawback. Aim assist reduces the need for active target tracking, which can lead to a more passive approach to aiming. When I switched to keyboard and mouse, the difference was immediately clear. Without aim assist, I had to actively track targets, which improved my precision over time. It's a challenging adjustment, but one that ultimately sharpens your skills. This was part 1 of a 2-part series video. To see the remaining 9 key points, make sure to click the like and click on the video you see on screen right now. See you there.